Hey, welcome to Wealth Phenomenon, where we say it, sow it, and reap it for financial release for kingdom advancement. The earlier part of this year, the Lord blessed me to share a message about the power of the seed. Well, with Wealth Phenomenon, when we say sow it, that means we're giving our love, giving our finances, giving that for the kingdom in order for us to reap it, in order for the kingdom to be advanced. And something amazing happened. I had a testimony from that, and I was weeping, and I'm like, Lord, thank you so much for the breakthrough that you gave me. And he simply spoke and said, Elaine, it was the power of the seed. So from that, me weeping and thanking the Lord, came a message with birth about the power of the seed. What is the seed? That which I had in my hand, and I sowed it. I gave because I needed a breakthrough, and I received that breakthrough. As a result, I have an amazing testimony that I would like to share with you. So stay tuned for the testimony and the word about the power of the seed. I am so excited to be here with you and just to share about the great things that God has done in my life and what God will do in your life. Recently, I had the Lord just do some amazing things for me, and I'll share my testimony with you after I share a couple of stories or testimonies from the Bible. But it was a result of me giving, and it was a result of some of my friends giving, and that how we saw God move as a result of our giving. So I was prostrated on the floor one night, and I was just thanking the Lord for what He had done and what He's going to do. And He said, Elaine, it is the result of the power of the seed. And I sat up and I'm like, what? And He said, it's the result of the power of the seed. And in Chuck's book, In the Time to Prosper, he speaks about the law of giving. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. God gave, and we find even in Genesis that God gave, that He created a time of seed time and harvest. He told Adam and Eve to be fruitful and what? Multiply. Why? Because of a seed. And then we notice that it goes on in Genesis with Noah, that after God had sent the flood and they were coming off of the ark, and the Lord promised Noah, after Noah had offered up a sacrifice, there's that seed. After he offered up the sacrifice, God said, look, I'm not going to do this anymore. There will always be a time of seed time and harvest. So this is the result of the power of the seed and giving to the Lord. We find in 1 Samuel with Hannah that she would go every year she and her husband to the Lord, and they would worship. And she would cry bitterly every year because she wanted a son. But get this, it wasn't until she made a vow and she said, Lord, if you give me a son, I'll give him back to you. That was her seed. And guess what? That year, she got pregnant with Samuel. But this is more about than us just giving to the Lord, because God needed a prophet in the earth in order for Him to bring about what He said He would do. So therefore, He had to go through Hannah, who was willing to give a seed, her son, back to Him so he can move. Isn't that exciting that the Lord will use us, that He gives us the desire first. And then He's saying, but wait a minute, because I love you so much, I love this world so much, I need you to give a seed in order for me to do what I want to do. And I think about Chuck's testimony that years ago, he and Pam gave a house away, gave a home away. And then I was thinking about that and being here at the Global Sphere Center, being in this apostolic center, I thought, God, is this a result? Now, I know Chuck and Pam gives. I know that. But I'm looking at, they gave away a home. And when I look at Global Sphere Center, where it is a center, where it's a home to house the glory, where it's a home to house the miraculous, where it's a home to send people out all across the nation to accomplish what God wants them to do, did it start or did it begin with them giving away a home? That's something for you to meditate on and think about it, that we're here today because our apostle gave a home, and now we're here housing the glory of God, housing the miraculous. But anyway, let's keep moving because I have other things to share with you. And then we have the widow of Zarephath in Kings, in 1 Kings 17. Well, you know, the prophet Elisha went to her, and he said, can you give me a drink? And she said, yes. She was willing to give him a drink in the midst of famine. Then he said, well, can you give me something to eat? And she said, but look, hey, I'm picking up sticks so that we can die. You know the story. But it wasn't until she gave to the prophet that then her cruse of oil never went dry for the next 3 years of famine. Neither did her barrel of meal go empty. Why? Because she gave a seed. Moving right along, that we have the Shunammite woman. She saw that the prophet would come through. He needed a place to live, to stay while he was there. She gave. She offered up a place for him. And as a result of that, then he said, what do you need? Being humble as she was and being content with what she had, she said nothing. He said, oh no, because you have blessed me, God has something for you. As a result, she got a son. Son died as a result of, once again, just opening her home, giving that her son was raised. But you know what? That seed just didn't stop there. Years later, the prophet came to her and said, look, you and your family need to leave. There's going to be a famine in the land. They were gone for 7 years. Okay, now remember, she opened up her home. She gave the prophet a place to stay. Here we are. He's sending her away, saying for 7 years there's going to be a famine. She goes, and then she comes back. When she's ready to go back in, she wanted to see the king. Why? Because she won back what she felt she had lost. Meanwhile, Gehazi has given her testimony about the son being raised. I'm talking about the power of a seed. It began with a seed. And so as a result, she gets her land back. She gets the interest from the land being worked while she was gone the 7 years. That seed increased over and over in her life. I want you all to be encouraged. That's my purpose for being here, about giving, about the power of your seed that we give. Okay, so let me share my testimony. Several of us were eating lunch one day, and we thought, you know, we were talking about different things going on in our lives, and we thought, we need to give. So we walked down to the tabernacle, and we gave, and we decreed over what we wanted. We decreed that which has been locked up, and that it would be opened up as a result of this seed. Man, we sowed that seed and we instantly saw results within a week or so. And I saw what God had done for me within a week, because those things that had been locked up, because of the power of the seed, it unlocked, it broke through. And it broke through for one of my friends. I can't steal their thunder, so I'm not going to tell their testimony, but I do want you to know that it was a breaking because of the power of a seed. And then something else happened. Someone came to me and had some issues and whatever, and it was medical and it was whatever. And I thought, oh my God, I have to help this person. And I didn't know how I was going to do it because it was, you know, financially and really looking at the whole picture of it. But I said to the Lord, I'm going to move forward in this, and I'm going to sow this seed for this person to get the breakthrough that they need in their body. Wow. If I tell you God did not move that same day, I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I stepped out. Why? Because I believe in the power of the seed. So I was talking to someone about something, and then I said, well, do you know about such and such? And they said yes, and that opened up a wide door for the individual that I was sowing the seed into so that they could get a breakthrough in their health. Not only are they getting a breakthrough in their health, but God opened the door of favor for them that's taken them much further than what I had expected, much further than what she has expected. Why? Because of the power of the seed. So What do we do with our seed when we plant it? But before we do that, I want to decree over you. I say to you that the seeds that you have sown in the past, that you will now see a harvest from it. The seed you sown in one era, you will see a harvest from it in this era. Not only you, but your children and your children's children to 1,000 generations. That God never forget the seeds that you plant in the ground. That yes, it may look like it's dead for a while because you know the seed have to fall in the ground and die. But please know that it will yield a harvest of increase, not only for you, but for future generations. And don't accept the fact that you're on a fixed income. Oh, this is a word for somebody. You know, I'm living on a fixed income, or I'm stuck in this and I can't do that. I'm saying to you, there's power in the seed. Sow the seed. Declare, I'm coming from under this bondage of a fixed income. Why? Because you serve a miraculous God. Nothing is impossible with God. God can take a little bit. God can take a little bit. Think of the Zarephath widow. God took a little bit, and boy, did he increase that enough for her, and not only her, but her household, that he gave her more. So those of you that saying, I'm just on a fixed income and I can't do whatever, take that out of your vocabulary. And if you do nothing else, you give and you say, there's power in this seed that I'm sowing, because I'm coming from underneath this lie, this fix over my head. I got a fix. I got a ceiling over my head. Said I'm tied into here. That's not kingdom, because nothing is impossible with God. The power of the seed. Be encouraged, sow, and expect.